Good evening and welcome to Wives in Prayer, a new series that we're going to find out a little bit more about marriage. And this particular series is entitled, So How You Still Married? And this evening we're going to be talking to Norma Hutson, who has been married for 40 years. Yes, I said 40 years. 40 years. Some of you watching are not even 40. So, good evening, Norma. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Laina.
So
It's nice to be here.
I'm going to jump right in and ask you, what has been the most trying thing about being married and how did you overcome it?
I would say, when there's a conflict or my husband would not like to admit the things. If he did something, they say you did that, he would say, he would not admit. He would never say, yes, I did it, or no, he just would not admit. But pray, and I left it to God.
I like how you said you wouldn't admit to things. I would usually say you wouldn't admit you're wrong.
Right, wrong. You wouldn't admit
Right.
wrong. That's the correct word. But pray, and I left it to God.
Is that in all situations? So what? Yes, you pray,
Yes.
but then physically, what would you do? Because you're still walking around the house every day.
But sometimes I would fuss.
A little.
Yeah, but that was not the answer. Fussing would not make the situation any better.
Did you start at prayer first, though? Did you start as prayer was the answer, or did you start somewhere and end up as prayer was the answer?
Like most women, we would fuss, quarrel.
Yeah.
You keep on asking over and over and over. And then when you realize that nothing is happening, then I just didn't bother anymore. So I just left it to God. Pray, talk with God, pray. I left it there.
Okay. And that worked.
Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't always, but most of the time I would say it worked.
Do you think it did anything for you, developing that prayer life, that waiting on God to do something as opposed to trying to fuss up with your husband?
Yes, because without fussing didn't make the situation any better.
Right.
But, it's like you could stop quarreling, you could stop fussing,
Right. You start talking to yourself.
Right. So, because you realize nothing is happening.
Right.
So you I really had to depend upon God to help in that situation.
Well, that's good advice. 4 years of experience, I guess you learn how to be content with the situation.
I would say 39 years and one day. Or tomorrow makes it 40 years.
Oh, wow. You just call that 40 because nothing can happen between today and tomorrow. I can change it. So obviously over 40 years, a lot of things would have changed about you and a lot of things would have changed about your husband. How did you manage through those changes?
The changes, when my husband lost his job, that was real tough for us. It was tough for me because he was not the sole breadwinner, but we partner in everything we do up to this very present day. So with he's not working anymore, it became a little bit tough on me. I would cry to think he's not going to work anymore and wonder if things were going to be, if our bills would get paid. And he being home all the time, I used to be feeling so sad all the time. It was something like it was tormenting me because he wasn't working. But as a couple, we never go and do a lot of higher purchasing. We always bought our stuff cash.
Right.
So we didn't have any outstanding bills. It would just be like the water and stuff like that.
Right.
And my funds always went to the bank and he controlled it.
Okay.
So that would be one of the most trying times in our relationship. And for him, it would be the same thing. We were both sad, broken and stuff like that. But God pulled us through.
How would you say what things actually helped during those times? If you had one or two nuggets that helped during those times,
I think comforting each other. He comfort me, I comfort him.
Okay. So you weren't both down at the same time. Somebody who was in better spirits and was able to.
Yes. But there were times when sometimes we all went down together.
Oh dear.
But God is good, and if you depend upon him, he will bring you through whatever the situation is. And He has brought us through
Amen.
our situations.
And would you say that in over the 40 years, the man you married, if you look back at the man you married 40 years ago, how different is he now, or how different are you now in terms of your
Yeah, we
relationship?
have changed so much. I have gotten older.
Well, I hope both of y'all.
Yeah, and we have changed so much, but our relationship is still, we're still very close. We do everything together,
Right.
and it's like I say, he can't function if I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
Small things to do, even in the house. If there's something to do, he wouldn't do it. But once I get home, or once I'm home, you will see he's doing it. You
You all
know?
do it together.
Yeah. Before then we would go, but we were accustomed always doing things together, going places together. It was always both of us together. You wouldn't see him unless it's some place that I couldn't go.
Oh, okay.
So we were always people that moved together. People that moved together.
And y'all were always in church together too?
Yes.
Okay. In the same ministry or different ministries?
Different ministries.
Yes.
But in the church together. That's where I found him. But it was in church too.
Okay. That's where you found your husband, in church?
Yeah.
That's a different story. We can talk about that another time.
All right.
So, what do you think is the most important thing, or what are, I would say, 3 things that you think are important for the marriage journey? Like, if you could just focus on those things. I know you mentioned prayer a lot, so I would assume that's one of the things you would say. But what are the other things that you think in the journey of marriage that persons can focus on?
I would say love and forgiveness.
Where are those key?
Because if you love someone, in spite of whatever the situation is, they wrong you or anything, and you can forgive them, your marriage can continue to grow.
But isn't that easier said than done?
I know. But when something happened between a couple and you say you forgive them, it don't go away right away. Don't think you can say you forgive them today and tomorrow.
Everything hunky dory.
No, because forgiveness is like a process. You know, you forgive them and then you gotta release them and let God take over. And it will work. And that's what worked for us. I guess otherwise we would not have been together all in all.
Right.
So I really base it on love and forgiveness.
And what about the love part?
I love him. I love my husband. In spite of whatever, I love him.
And how do you keep that? How do you keep that alive? How do you?
Like
40 years and 2 days. So how do you
We
keep
do
that?
all kind of things together. Go.
Is it intentional? Do you intentionally do things to keep the spark or to keep the love growing?
Yes.
Open your treasure chest, man. Tell us the things. Tell us the things, Norma.
Okay. He loved to go to the beach. I'm too fussy with the sea, but because he loved to go to the sea and to make him feel comfortable, I would go to the sea. And there are things that, or he belongs to the men's fellowship, and when they're having functions and stuff like that, I don't like to go to the things they may having, but because they know that he's gonna be there, he can feel comfortable. Even if I just go and sit down, he feels good. So I will go. So those are things that we do together, and just to keep our marriage going. Go and eat out and stuff like that.
Y'all have time, but I know you have grown.
Before
your
we
kids
used
are
to
grown,
go.
but
Oh, you only have one.
one.
Right.
So during the time when the children were, when your daughter was small, was it as easy to find that time together?
Well, no, we would take her along because we never like leaving her at anybody. I never like leaving her at my mom, although it would have been okay. My mother would say, bring her, bring her. But she was a sweet little girl.
Oh my gosh.
But we never like leaving her around. So we used to take her every place we go. Even when they had a doctor appointment and they just had her baby and you go back for your 6 weeks appointment, I took her, Mama said, leave her here. But we say, it's all right. We took her with us. So it wasn't too bad. We took her everywhere. We put her in the, we had a basket. We put her in the back of the car, and wherever we went, she went to. But we get along well from the inception. So We knew what we was about
Yeah.
in our relationship.
In that time when you were taking her everywhere, did you actually have time to carve out to spend together, or is it now that she's grown that you've rekindled or restarted that time together?
Yes, now that she's gone, we find more time where we can do a lot more stuff together.
Yeah. And I'm hearing a lot of what you're saying too is compromise, being able to, because you don't necessarily enjoy the men's fellowship event,
No.
but I'll still go along because,
Right.
yeah,
You know, and there are other functions that his group have that he would tell me, come, you going? My husband don't make no decisions unless he consult me. He does nothing unless he says, Norma, what do you think? Sometimes I think that there's a question, there's something you could do on your own. There's a question or something you can ask. He doesn't make any decisions without me. None.
true partnership.
Yeah. And like our funds and stuff like that, we never had a problem with money. Like where this is my money, I can do what? I got paid, my money went through the bank. We did whatever was to do. They never pay no like bill, they never pay water bill, they never know.
Your name on a bill anyway.
And that was quite all right. He never had a problem. He's retired now, and it's still not a problem.
Anything on the bucket list for y'all to do that y'all want to do together that y'all always said we would love to do this together?
I don't think so, no. The last thing we did, we went to England last Christmas. He said he wanted to go back, but it's not something now that we have to because we've been together before we went to America. So I don't think it's anything. Just continue being together and doing what we're accustomed to.
Yeah, enjoying each
together
other.
and enjoying each other.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I took away a few nuggets that I think are good for any marriage. I took away love.
Yeah.
I took away forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
I took away compromise,
Uh-huh.
which I'm working on. Because there are things I just don't like to do. So,
Right.
but you know, I listen. Yeah. And I think those things are foundational to any marriage. Yeah. And looking at you so happy 40 years in, talking about 39 on one day to go. And I know people go through seasons where, you know, the kids are small and there isn't necessarily, you had somebody, you chose not to,
Mm-hmm.
but there isn't anybody necessary to leave the kids with, and time together alone might be slim.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that, you share, I heard as well, partnership, making decisions together. Sounds like even the smallest decision.
That's right.
Yeah, making those decisions together. And I think those are good nuggets for any marriage, Norma. And I just want to thank you for taking this small time out to share with us. I wish you many, many, many more years of happiness.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. This is another WIP session, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it can contribute and help grow your marriage. So that's us signing off for now. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.